guess I should have read that
That's
closer.
okay.
Okay.
Matt, if you want to go ahead and move Mr. Kelly and Mrs. Hopper up to panelists, so when we get to their reports, they're already on, that'd be great.
Yeah. And then I was in such a hurry to join, I left my copy of the agenda in my other office, and there, can we screen share? Great, thank you. Okay, well, we've called the meeting to order and established the quorum. And at this point, I guess we stand and join me in a pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance
to the flag
of the United States of America
and to the republic
for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I keep thinking of my Scoutmaster days, you know, with Boy Scouts, they always do two, you know, lower their hand. We won't do that here, I guess. Okay, is there a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
I'll move to adopt the agenda.
I'll second.
Thank you. Superintendent Pelfrey, are there any public comments on the agenda?
We've not received any public comment.
Okay, any board comments?
Let me see if there's, and there does not appear to be any live public comment.
Board comments? Okay, student board member vote? Acacia? No, did we lose her?
Hi, sorry, I just got back in the meeting. My Wi-Fi. My apologies.
That's okay. What's your vote, Acacia, on the adopting the agenda?
Yes.
Thank you. Cindy, board roll call vote?
You're muted, Cindy. I cannot, but I can go ahead and do it. Trustee Riggs?
Yes.
Trustee Norton?
Aye.
Trustee Scott? Trustee Wolken? Trustee Andal?
Aye. Motion carries.
The motion carries.
Thank you. Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, public comments for non-agendized presentations, reports, and information items. Members of the public are welcome to address the board at this time regarding non-agendized presentations, reports, and information items. Time is limited to 5 minutes per speaker with a cumulative time of 20 minutes. This is the time for the members of the public to comment and the board members to listen. Superintendent Pelfrey, are there any comments for these items?
We've not received any public comment, and it does not appear that we have any live public comment.
Thank you. Are there any board comments? Very well. So on to reports and information items. And I'm sorry, I don't have my hard copy. Can we scroll up on that? Thank you. Okay, so we're going to start off with a classified employee report. We have the classified union present.
I am present. How you doing, Mr. Andal?
Good. How are you, Glenn?
Not too bad. Our voting went out last week and it closed today to ratify the contract as proposed, and that got approved overwhelmingly, not by 100%, but really good. So the contract is voted to get ratified. So I think it goes to you guys now.
Well, that would be remarkable with 100% ratification. I wonder if that ever happens.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll try maybe for next year, right? Next round.
Right. Does that conclude your report, Glenn?
Yes, sir. That concludes my
Great.
report for this evening.
Thank you so much. How about the
You're welcome.
the certificate employee report? I thought I saw Debbie out there.
I am. Good evening.
Good
Um,
evening.
I have a couple things to report out from some teachers of things that we're doing in classes. Dave Winslow is reporting that students in all of his classes are doing a wonderful job applying the technology skills they developed while in distant learning to create presentations they show to their classmates. Cheryl Godfrey in her life skills classes is playing. They've been playing budgeting and money management games online for our Get Focused, Stay Focused chapters, supplemental lessons, and having competitions. Who can save the most money? Who can end the game with the least debt, etc. And it's been a really fun activity for the class. Every freshman in the room is 100% engaged when they are playing games like Uber.com, where they are an Uber driver with $1,000 mortgage bill to pay and have to in the game with enough money to pay it. Um, road trips with passengers and budgeting along the way, including flat tires and hospital visits and so forth. And it says all she says all kids can play, even those on distance, which makes it even more fun because the whole class is involved. Yvonne Denton is reporting that the band played for the football game last Friday. They have never been able to practice all together before the performance, and the kids did a great job. Um, and I got to see that being live streamed, and it was amazing to see um, the band playing. Stacy Ingalls is reporting that Jordan Hampton placed sixth at the regional prepared public speaking contest. And she has 22 FFA members taking over 45 plus livestock projects to the fair this year. 10 students signed up for the virtual state fair conference, and 2 students submitted outstanding agri-science projects in the virtual state science fair this year. And so there's lots of things happening, and it's in with all the challenges of this year, I think the teachers are doing an amazing job at getting it done and trying to make the best for the students. Thank you.
Thank you, Debbie.
It appears that Nancy is in the attendees.
What would this year be without these IT irregularities? And I don't even know what an IT irregularity is. It seems like more of the regular thing. Thank you. I don't see the screen share, but I did see that Superintendent Pelfrey, you're next up for your report.
Yes, and first I'd like to refer to Principal Sells.
Hi, this evening I'd like to give you an update about graduation, because I know as we approach the end of May, early June, that is in the forefront of a lot of our students and staff and communities' minds. Recently, the California Department of Public Health updated their guidance on commencement ceremonies. And so utilizing that guidance, we've been able to establish what our graduation ceremony can look like depending on what colored tier we're in. And so we are planning for a live in-person on the field graduation ceremony. And I will present this to our staff tomorrow morning, as well as email and mail home a hard copy of a letter to parents tomorrow afternoon, so that everyone is aware of what we're planning so that they can make their own plans. We will follow the CDPH guidelines, and we do feel like we can do so. And depending on the tier that we're in, we can allow for each graduate to have a specific number of tickets to give to their immediate household and family members. And so if we are currently we're in the orange tier. And so if we maintain in the orange tier, based off our stadium and field capacity, we would be able to give each graduate 9 tickets to give to their immediate household and family members. If we have moved into the yellow tier based off of our capacity, we would be able to give each graduate 20 tickets to give to their immediate household and family members. If we, as a county, backslide a little in our COVID mitigation protocols and we see an increase in COVID cases and we were to move back to the red, we would be able to give each graduate 5 tickets for the graduation ceremony. We have secured a NorCal Sports TV to live stream the ceremony. And that way, anyone who is unable to attend in person will be able to view it live stream simultaneous to the ceremony occurring. We're really excited to be able to do this for our students this year because we know that that was a component that was missing in the past, and we're excited that the guidances came out so that we can make this happen, even though it might be in a modified capacity. Is there any questions regarding the graduation update?
So in the current tier, I'm just curious, are we going to require everyone to wear masks while they're on campus, or how will that work, or we'll just play it by ear at the time?
Yes, so we would require masking at all times during the ceremony, and there is some pretty specific guidelines that we'd have to meet, and so we would give those out with the tickets, even printed on the back of the tickets, so that every person who had a ticket to attend the ceremony was aware of the regulations and the rules, as well as we would check tickets as people entered the stadium.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Principal Sells? Thank you very much. And I know that she's done a lot of work on this and is working with her whole team to try and make this a very successful in-person graduation. The other thing I'd like to update you on is several items. One is that we received a change in the blueprint for opening the economy. So the governor has sent out that on June 15th, all industries, including schools across the state, can return to usual operations with common sense risk reduction measures, such as masking and vaccinations. So we're looking forward to that, to being able to have all students on campus and to have them continue to mask, but that they will be able to have all students on campus, and we'll continue with trying to provide the best levels of hygiene when that happens. So that's very exciting. Excuse me, I've lost my notes. Our COVID vaccines, it has changed. So now people are able to, well, I'm sorry, today's the 13th. As of the 15th, 16 and 17-year-olds will be able to register for vaccinations. And all vaccinations now are all that registration is being done on myturn.ca.gov is the way that that's working. So people of all ages down to 16 will be able to register for vaccinations if they wish at that time. One of the things that does is it enables, if there is close contact with somebody who does test positive, people who have completed the 2 vaccinations and the 2-week period after the vaccinations for full effectiveness will not be quarantined if they are a close contact. COVID testing for staff is still available every Wednesday by appointment. And we are moving into a phase of indoor sports where all students participating in indoor sports will be tested weekly to make sure that they can continue with practices and participate in competitions. And then just a little update on the Wildcat Ranch. A lot of work has been done on fuel reduction at the Wildcat Ranch. There will be a committee meeting this Thursday at the ranch at 6 p.m. to look at some of the fuel reduction and also look at staking for a potential barn site. That concludes my report. Anybody has any questions?
I have 2 questions, Ed. So what sports are taking place indoors?
Boys and girls basketball and volleyball.
With spectators?
Spectators, I believe, are only family household members. They all have passes. Those passes indicate who are the members of the household.
Okay. And then as far as if we haven't changed tiers, I don't think to open up the field, but I know that the public had inquired about if and when we would be opening the field back up for public use. I don't know if we have any date or time on that.
Well, June 15th seems like the magic date for opening it up to the public in general. But what we are working on, and let me just read to you. Is that we have received revised guidance from both the state and our insurer that we can permit facilities use of outside facilities by organizations that can, number one, provide a COVID mitigation plan that's been approved by the Tuolumne County Public Health Office, and that they complete our facilities use application, which includes providing proof of an insurance, naming Sonora Union High School District as the additionally insured. The clubs may not have more than 50 people in the facility, and it also has to include the cost of custodians that will unlock the facility, let the members of the participating group in, and then lock the doors behind them, and then they will unlock restrooms so that we have proper access to those for people using facilities and cleaning after that occurs.
With that 50 person maximum, that includes, like, say a soccer game on our sports field and the spectators, everybody? Is that?
I don't think that a soccer game would be permitted. A soccer practice would be permitted because a soccer game would bring up two groups from different organizations, and it has to be one organization at a time. So it would be the people participating in the practice and and whoever then that group has had permitted by their public health COVID mitigation. If public health did approve that there was more than one group there, that would be up to the public health call. So we're following the public health mitigation guidelines as each group provides it to them.
Sorry, that brought up another question. So at this point, I believe soccer is over, but obviously we're trying to have a football season. So is that how many games, or what are we looking at? Because I know we just had, so where are we at with that, I guess?
Actually, we just finished an undefeated football season.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, we finished an undefeated football season. I liked how our varsity football players were stating that they were 3-0, which I thought was a pretty good symbol. But we're not saying 3-0, we're just saying undefeated. So it is both. So that season is done, and soccer's wound up as well.
Okay.
The field now is being used for track practice.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you, Superintendent Pelfrey. Next item are Board of Trustees reports. Are there any reports from the board? Okay, I just wanted to comment really quickly on that progress out at the ranch. Just so thrilled with that part of it. We've all heard about the committee for the ranch, and not surprisingly, due to the committee memberships, the stakeholders, talent and motivation and commitment, all that, I mixed with the superintendent's involvement with them and the board's sort of thumbs up to do what they do. I'm not surprised to see these exciting things happen. Like, for example, when Superintendent Pelfrey talked about staking off places for a potential barn, here we are moving forward, at least, steps at a time. Just wanted to comment, like, it's so good to celebrate things, particularly after this past year when we were often having to make tough decisions to reduce services or restrict things. So that's great. Okay, item E, first reading of revised board policies and bylaws, CSBA's updates for October 2020. Superintendent Pelfrey.
The board holds a first reading followed by approval at a subsequent meeting for revised board policies, exhibits, board bylaws, and as the CSBA recommends. The attached policy guide sheet details the revisions and the individual board policies, exhibits, and board bylaws, and they are attached for review.
Thank you. And item F, first reading of board policies and bylaws, CSBA audit for transitioning from Gamut to Assembly platforms.
You're pronouncing it as well as it could be. CSBA is transitioning from the Gamut platform to the Assembly platform to improve their policy maintenance services. Part of the process was auditing each LEA, and we're an LEA. Our district is a learning education agency. They audited all our policies. The attached list specifies the policies, exhibits, and bylaws that CSBA recommends deleting or revising as a result of their audit. Each policy, exhibit, and bylaw is attached for review. Information about administrative regulation deletions and revisions are also included, but they didn't require board approval.
Great, thank you. That brings us to action items. The consent agenda items combine routine business into one agenda item as a whole. Therefore, the consent agenda can be approved in one action rather than multiple motions on each item separately. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
I'll move.
Is that Kim? And a second?
I second.
And that's Nancy. Are there, Superintendent Pelfrey, any public comments on the consent agenda?
We didn't receive any, but I believe that Ms. Hopper would like to comment.
Thank you. I saw that there's a lot under this action item and 14 action items ranging from accepting donations, approving personnel recommendations, and hiring, I think, 4 new positions, creating creating a pay schedule for 4 new positions that seem to be all management positions. And having that all in one is an awful lot. And it has assured me that these new positions and the money going for them is an effort to actually reduce district spending, and that is an amazing deal. But it is the perception of some that there are positions being tailor-made for specific individuals, and that's a big concern. I don't know the validity of it, but that's still a perception that's going to have to be dealt with. And so if those individuals are hired, it's going to create a bad optic for our district. And so I'm hoping that we can look carefully into them. We are told that we cannot replace teachers, a teacher specifically that was non-relect and not necessarily that the job wasn't needed, but the individual wasn't necessarily right for the position. But we haven't been able to rehire them. We were told that was the intent, was to rehire, and we still haven't rehired. And now we're being told we can't rehire because we don't have the money. But then we have money to open up these management positions, and that's well more money than the cost of a teacher. And the reason we need the teachers is so that we are building programs or maintaining programs instead of losing programs at Sonora High. And that's a big concern for us because we want to support our students in every way that we can. And it's a big concern. So I want to make sure that you are aware of that. Big moves are important. I'm not a person who's afraid of changes. I think change is often amazing and wonderful. I'm just asking that you please do your due diligence to make sure that these are the right changes, so that we are indeed saving money and not just creating extra expensive positions that are going to end up costing us even more. And all plans like that have some risk in it, I suppose. Just I'm asking that you read through those and make sure that this is really a solid plan for Sonora High. It seems also that maybe we're making these moves for these big positions, and then I'm told that in January we're going to start making plans. And so anyway, it's just something that I felt I needed to share with you, that it's a big concern out there. And hope that you can keep that in mind while you're making decisions. Thank you for your time.
Superintendent Pelfrey, does that conclude the public comments?
It does.
Thank you. Board comments on the consent agenda.
Eric, item 5B, I was not in attendance at that meeting and can't vote on it, so I'd ask that that be pulled and voted on separately.
Okay, so procedurally, do I just pull it or how do we do that?
That's what
Anybody?
I would recommend, pull it and vote on it separately.
Okay, but I alone can just pull it? Is that how we?
You have my permission.
Okay, so let it be. Let's pull item 5B.
I think, Eric, the procedure is any board member can ask to have an item pulled.
Okay, so let's do that.
Hold on one moment. We have a raised hand from an attendee. Matt, will you raise Miss Alamia? I apologize for missing that.
Yeah, hi, good afternoon, Mr. Pelfrey and the board. I would actually echo the statements from Mrs. Hopper. Hiring 4 individuals that I'm guessing are not going to have contact with the kids in a time where the kids need to be supported and that kind of thing. I don't know much about it, but I would say it's definitely something to look into. And that's it.
I'm going to apologize now, but I guess my broadband's pretty weak. I'm going to have to kill my video. Sorry about that. Okay, I just want to make sure we're doing this right on pulling 5B. We've had a board member request that we pull that. Is that all we need, or do we need to make an amended motion? Or it seems like we have a motion on the table to approve the agenda as presented. Don't we need to amend that to instead of as presented to be as presented minus item B? Is that?
May I ask if it would be appropriate, since what we're talking about for item B is that Trustee Riggs was not in attendance, that we vote on that separately and then do the consent agenda minus item B? Is that appropriate?
I'm sorry, it's so you're suggesting that we make that motion, what you just said?
I don't know if I can actually present a motion.
Yeah.
But
I think that seems like what we have to do. Jim, would you mind making a motion to amend the motion to approve the agenda as presented, the consent agenda presented? I think that's the way we need to do it, correct?
Okay, whoever made the motion and whoever seconded could agree to amend their motion.
Okay, Kim and Nancy, is that agreeable to you?
Yes.
Kim? Kim, is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay, so Jim, you're suggesting that takes care of it.
Right, and then so we're now at the consent agenda minus item B, and you can clean up the consent agenda and then bring item B back for a quick vote. Okay.
I think we left off on the board comments with that amended motion. We're considering approving the consent agenda as presented minus item B. Any further board comments on that? Great. So student board member vote?
Yes.
Thank you. Cindy, roll call vote?
it's okay. Trustee Riggs?
Yes.
Trustee Norton?
Aye.
Trustee Scott?
Aye.
Trustee Wolken, not present. Trustee Andal?
Aye.
The motion passes.
Thank you. And now, is there a motion to approve item B? I guess that's it, right? Just a motion to approve item B?
I'll move to approve it.
Okay, is there a second? Nancy, second, thank you. And so I guess we ask for public comments on that, or I just want to make sure we're doing this right.
That seems right. Is there any public comment on approving item B from the consent agenda? I do not see any public comment on that.
Thank you. Any board comments on item B? Okay, student board member vote.
Yeah.
Thank you. Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Norton,
Aye.
Trustee Scott,
Aye.
Trustee Wilkins is not here. Trustee Andal,
Aye.
the motion passes.
Thank you. Okay, and if we could scroll down, please. Does that bring us, that brings us to 6, which is the future agenda items.
Yes.
Superintendent Pelfrey, are there any public comments on future agenda items?
I did not see any, we did not receive any comment, and I do not see any live public comment.
Great. Are there any board comments on future agenda items?
I do not have one on future agenda items, but reading back, I did mean to make a comment on when we approved the consent agenda. I did want to thank both all 3 of our donators, so the Golf Association for donating, as well as the Technical Education Incentive, and just thank them for donating towards us, as well as the Motherlode Art Association and Sonora High Chambers of Commerce. It means a lot to the students, just all the input and all the time and dedication that the community puts towards our programs, and we really appreciate it as a whole.
Thank you, Keisha. I agree. We have a wonderful community partnership with the very supporting community.
Thank you, Acacia, and I want you to know we will contact them and send them thank you notes as well. Thank you.
I hope we're also sending them out for the ranch folks that are working out there as well. And I did have maybe a comment versus a question for a future agenda, but I know we had touched on the senior projects, and it had been tailored this year due to our current circumstances. Do we have any update on how that all worked out and or something like that?
We do not, but I can certainly have a report at our next board meeting from Mr. Sarkeesian, who leads that effort.
Okay, appreciate it.
I would also like to bring up senior projects for next year and just ask how that format's going to go. I do know last year, the last student board representative, Greg Smith, made a motion to stop them, and I'm just curious how we're going to move forward.
And we can bring that up in the report and see if there is an action item that comes from that report.
Thank you.
Well, great. I think that gets to the end of our agenda, and the only thing left to do is to adjourn. I guess we'll see you all next time.
Thanks, everybody.
Have a good one.
Thank you.